knowing happy is an adjective, happiness is a noun. So we will not use this distinction for a while. Keeping aside this distinction, can you guys like give it a try of citing 15 synonyms for happy or happiness? Adjective or noun, whatever, doesn't matter.
Delighted.
Okay, delighted, one.
Ecstatic.
Okay, दो हो गया.
Joy.
Cheerful.
Joy. Okay, don't use Google, please. Okay.
No, sir.
हाँ, joy, ecstatic, delighted. 3. I want 15 to 20. At best, touch 20. 20 is like,
Cheerful is the right word.
yes, cheerful is very much the right word.
Okay.
Sir, euphoria.
Euphoria, euphoric, yes.
Sir,
5.
lively.
Not really, not really.
Sir, joyous.
Joyous, joyful, yes. 6. Lively
Sir,
and enthusiastic are not. Lively, enthusiastic, vivacious are not actually. Okay, yes. 6. So far 6.
Sir, cheerful.
Cheerful ho gaya na, I guess. Isn't
Yes,
it?
sir.
Haan.
Jovial.
Jovial. No. Jovial is not happiness.
Glee.
Glee, yes. Glee is happiness. Okay.
So what is the spelling of glee?
Yes, GLEE, glee. Okay.
Okay.
Now who has
Pleasure.
Please use glee in a sentence. Okay, चलो पहले ये complete करते हैं. Okay, glee हो गया, 8 हो गया, चलो.
Sir, pleasure.
Pleasure, Nihal, is not happiness.
Okay.
हाँ.
How about gay?
Yes, gay is happiness indeed. Yes. Gay is happiness, yes. 9. Yes, guys, 9 so far.
Upbeat.
Pardon?
Upbeat.
Upbeat. Upbeat is okay. Yes, we can. Upbeat is.
Sir, stoked.
Sir, bliss.
Sir, stoked.
Yes, guys. Pardon? क्या?
So pleased.
Sir, bliss.
Yes, bliss or blissfulness is happiness.
So pleased is
Pleasure and pleased are not happiness.
okay.
Sir, stoked.
Bubbly.
STO.
Not really. Bubbly is again more close to excited, convivial. Well, you see, my point of giving this exercise was that we can always start with simple words, words which have somehow escaped our attention because we think that we know about them when actually we do not know much about them, or words that have somehow, failed to arouse any curiosity in us because they're repetitive. एक बार क्या हुआ, Albert Einstein was once asked that who is an expert? And what he replied itself applied to English language very much. He said that an expert is someone who knows more and more about less and less. An expert is someone who knows more and more about less and less until he knows everything about nothing. Having said so, he means to say that the more you know simple things in greater details, the more of an expert you become. If not an expert, at least an informative person. Okay. And English language, I mean, of all the various fallacies or various, flawed methodology that we encounter while teaching English, this approach of running after big and pompous words while learning vocab is one of them. We shouldn't, run after big and pompous words. We can always start with simple words and then go into their nitty-gritty, then go into their details. Okay, because there are many different ways in which various synonym of a single word, a seemingly simple word like happy or happiness can be used. Okay, now I'm giving you hint. Tell me a kind of happiness that is expressed while laughing amongst friends from the letter M. Can you see my board, guys? Whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Okay, from the letter M, give it a try.
Merry.
Madness.
How can madness be happiness? Okay,
Merry.
merry is a different word, not this word. Now, what kind of merry, what kind of happiness merry is? When we say Merry Christmas, okay, or merriment, merriment, we do not say Happy Christmas, right? Merriment or merry is a kind of happiness that we express while we encounter some kind of festivity, when we celebrate amongst our social circle, when there's a kind of social cohesiveness that evokes a feeling of community. Okay, so there we use the word merry or merriment. Okay, the kind of happiness I was talking about is mirth. Have you heard of a novel, House of Mirth? You might have. So mirth is a kind of happiness that is expressed while laughing amongst friends. Okay. Now, a kind of happiness that you experience from letter E while you just finish a workout or an exercise, a short-lived sudden happiness without any reason, based on a famous rock band. Now guess it.
Euphoria.
Yes. Euphoria. Okay. There's a kind of happiness. Come to this happiness. There's a kind of happiness that you experience while you have made a profit or your adversaries have made a loss, is glee. Okay. A kind of carefree happiness that is represented by birds and butterfly and nature and trees and rivers and stream from the letter B. Yes.
Bliss.
Bliss.
Blithness. Blithness. Okay. Sometimes you say I'm transported. Lesser known meaning of a well-known word, which means is a very higher degree word, which means you are so happy that you are carried away. I'm transported. Not that you are literally transported, but you are carried away in your spirits. Okay. A kind of happiness, although a difficult word this time, from the letter J, is a French word. Again, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'll try my best. Okay. From the letter J, that represents a kind of intellectual delight or intellectual pleasure. Guess it. The last time I pronounced it as jouissance. I don't know how the pronunciation have changed this time, so I'm not sure. Still, I bank it on jouissance. It is pronounced as jouissance.
It's Joui.
Jouissance. I'm sure of the spelling, but not sure of the pronunciation because it is French. Jouissance. You could have said I am elated, isn't it? You could have said rapture, right? Intense happiness. Exult.
So tickling is also a kind of word. Right?
Not. Exult. Tickling is not, to tickle is not happiness.
Okay.
Tickling is a kind of sensation.
Okay.
Jollity. Right. Delighted. So you see, the first, my point of giving this exercise was that you must start by looking simple things in details. And that is how we grow. You look simple things into details and then try to, delve into the nuances of it. Try to delve into the nuances of it. There are many different kind of happiness. Okay, so what kind of happiness is used in which kind of a situation are we referring to? Okay, so this is the first thing. Now come to a different kind of exercise. Say for instance, if I write a word authoritarian, right? Now, when I say authoritarian, there can be many different synonyms. What is synonym? We will talk later on in this class itself. Authoritarian, right? Or authoritarianism. Now, let me write the synonym of it. Autocratic is also authoritarianism. Okay. Dictatorship is also authoritarianism. Fascist.
Leadership.
Sorry. Yes. Tyrannical is also authoritarianism. Plutocratic. Oligarchic. Paternalistic is also authoritarianism. Totalitarian. Tarian or totalitarianism, as you may like to use the word. Totalitarian or totalitarianism, adjective or noun, is also authoritarianism. Despotic is also authoritarianism. Okay. Now, वो तो Google वाला test नहीं था. Now this is a open book test. Okay, go to Google, any source of your reference, and try to tell me the difference between the meaning of any two words. Take 5 minutes. This is a 5 minutes exercise. Open book test. Go to whatever dictionary you refer to, and then tell me the difference in the meaning of all these 10 words. Okay, difference between the meaning of any two given words. Give it a try. It's an open book test. Swastika, are you there? Swastika Goel?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, autocratic, I want to say the difference between autocratic and oligarchic, sir.
Kya? I couldn't hear you.
Sir, the difference between autocratic and oligarchic?
Not really. The difference between any of these two. Okay, it can be between autocratic and paternalistic. It can be between oligarchic and paternalistic. It can be between plutocratic and oligarchic.
Yes, yes, sir, I wanted to say the difference between autocratic and oligarchic.
Okay. Let's wait for 5 minutes. We will participate in the group discussion. Okay, let other people do it. We will do it in one go. Yes, guys, 2 minutes more to go. Are you finding the exercise easy, moderate, or difficult? This one?
Quite difficult.
Quite difficult.
In my opinion, it is.
Yes, guys, those who have completed, we can start. Who can tell me, of all these 10 synonyms, which one is the most harshly negative of all?
Sir, I found tyrannical.
Tyrannical. Who are you? Swastika?
Sir, Ruchika.
Ruchika. Okay, Ruchika. Tyrannical. Ruchika, I don't think so. No.
So I think fascist.
I think
Fascist.
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 Yes, sir.
Fascist.
Why? Because fascist has suddenly become common these days. Fascist is not one of the most negative of all. पहले ये बताओ कौन सा source refer किया है आप लोगों ने?
Sir, Merriam-Webster.
Merriam-Webster.
Sir, Cambridge.
Sakura.
This is the source that we will refer to. That is the new address of oxforddictionaries.com. Okay, we will not use any other dictionary. Okay, otherwise फिर आप मरियम वेबस्टर या कुछ और आप रेफर करोगे या आप चैम्बर्स रेफर करोगे तो again you will write all right as this, all right, which is not actually. All right is two different words. It is all space right. Okay, so make sure you use the proper source. So from now on, we will use lexico.com. That is the new address of oxforddictionaries.com. Okay, we will strictly follow Oxford. First thing. Okay, now you see what was the point of giving this exercise is that just knowing the definition of these words won't help you fetch any meaningful conclusion. Okay, I'm pretty sure most of you won't be able to, differentiate between most of them. Why? Because we have not seen the example sentences. So always remember that whenever you're looking into words, more than the meaning of it, more than the dictionary definition of it, always try to look into the various example sentences, guys. Okay, so the more number of example sentences you refer to, the clearer you will be in your meaning. Okay, that is why this exercise, if at all, was appearing difficult to some of you. Okay, so first thing first, we will go to lexico.com and we will always use lexico.com. And whenever we will encounter any new words, say for instance, in this case, despotic or totalitarianism, we will look into the example sentences so as to make us clear. Okay, so यहाँ सबसे जो harshly negative है, that is despotic. I'll tell you why. First of all, let's come to authoritarianism. Authoritarianism. अच्छा चलो पहले मुझे पूछने दो. Who will explain the difference between paternalistic and plutocratic? Yes. Okay, tell me the definition of paternalistic. Yes, somebody please. Paternalistic and plutocratic का difference. Yes, guys.
So paternalistic is something wherein you make decisions for other people rather than letting them take that responsibility of their own lives.
Okay, and plutocratic is? Who will tell me the difference between a fascist and a tyranny? Who is a fascist and who is a tyrant?
Fascist is a person who believes in or sympathizes with fascism. Basically,
The fascist is defined as a person who is very intolerant towards 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 the people, towards the criticism of or anything of the people.
Okay.
And
And
tyrant is
who is a
someone
tyrant?
who does not follow any law or is not governed by any sort of government, who's above everything.
Cruel in particular.
Cruel and?
Cruel and say oppressive.
Cruel and aggressive.
But a fascist is a kind of
Sir, a fascist is an advocate of the political philosophy of fascism who is also extremely right-wing or authoritarian.
So, can I try again?
Bolo Nihal.
Yes, sir. The fascist can be defined by a very intolerant person towards the people or their behavior or their negative behavior towards him. While tyrannical is means the person who try to oppress or control or try to make control on the people under him.
Okay. Okay, guys, fine. So most of you have tried. Now let me make some sense of it. So you can like take a quick note if you like. So authoritarianism is the most objectively descriptive and the least negative of all. Okay, so यहाँ पे हम authoritarianism को use करेंगे as an umbrella term under which these 9 specific categories will be defined. Okay, I again say authoritarianism is the least negative and the most objectively described of all these terms. Okay, authoritarianism does not refer to any kind of government, okay, but rather it refers to the attitude of governance. Okay, it doesn't refer to a kind of government, it refers to the attitude of governance. Having said so, I mean to say authoritarianism can be present in any form of government, from monarchy to democracy. Okay, any of these form of government can be authoritarian in its attitude. So authoritarianism is a form of governance in its attitude, not in its form. Okay, first thing. Now authoritarianism के बाद जो least negative है, that is called autocratic. Okay, autocratic comes very close to authoritarianism. Autocratic form of governance comes very close to authoritarianism. It is the mildest of all, but a little harsher than authoritarianism. Always remember. Okay. Now come to the difference between plutocratic and oligarchic. What is oligarchic? Oligarchic is a rule by elite class. Okay. Rule by the elites. Okay. But oligarchy is silent on the suggestion as to how those elite people are chosen. Okay. And oligarchy can have both a positive and a negative meaning. Okay. Abhi kuch din pehle, a couple of years before, while I was reading Austin Granville, The Making of Indian Constitution, in which he referred to the word oligarchy in a very positive way. He somehow wrote, मुझे exactly वो पूरा exactly sentence verbatim याद नहीं है, but I'm paraphrasing it, is that Gandhi, Nehru and Ambedkar were a group of oligarchic people utterly incapable of harming the masses. Okay, I'm again repeating. Gandhi, Nehru and Ambedkar were a group of oligarchic people utterly incapable of harming the masses. So you see in this case, a very positive connotation of the word oligarchic has been evoked. Okay, but when these elite people are chosen on the basis of their wealth, okay, the oligarchic becomes plutocratic. Okay, so plutocracy is ruled by wealthy elites, always remember, while oligarchy is ruled by elite. Now, what kind of elite they are? It is completely silent. We have no clue. Okay, now come to paternalistic. The paternalistic stance of university authorities. Paternalistic refers to an authoritarian tendency that see its populace matlab hota hai citizens, as childlike. Okay, who are not capable of taking decision on their own, and that is why they need a parent-like figure to be governed. Okay, parent-like attitude from the government. So paternalistic means viewing its population as childlike is paternalistic. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can please interrupt. Now come to all these.
How
Yes.
would
Can
we
you
use
repeat the
paternalistic?
paternalistic again?
Paternalistic again. Paternalistic views its population or its populace as childlike. Okay. Authoritarian tendency that see its population as childlike.
So, is there an example of an paternalistic government?
Paternalistic government, when there was not much of public consultation, even though it was democracy, India in its early days, okay, when India won independence, okay, immediately after 1947, till the time Nehru was the prime minister, okay. So for the first 15 years of Indian democracy could best be defined as paternalistic, when there was little or no public consultation on the issue. When to build dam, where to build dam, what kind of funding, what kind of education needs to be inculcated, what kind of education needs to be funded, should it be higher education, should it be grassroots education, okay, what kind of public welfare scheme, what kind of social security measures do we need to, you know, bring in place. So all these things, for all these things, public consultation was largely absent. Okay, because the then prime minister, the then dispensation viewed that the public were utterly incapable of, you know, taking a decision on their own. Okay. And how to use it in a sentence? We can say paternalistic stance of most banana republics, paternalistic stance of university authorities. Okay. The paternalistic attitude of Indian parents. Okay, ऐसे use कर सकते हैं. Right. Now come to the crucial difference between dictatorship, fascist, tyrannical, and despotic. Right. 4 words are still left. So all these will come under the umbrella category of dictatorship. Dictatorship is a rule by one man and his group of people. Okay. In a dictatorship, civil liberty is largely suppressed. Individual liberties are largely suppressed in a dictatorship. And out of all these 4, dictatorship, fascist, tyrannical, and despotic, dictatorship is the mildest of all these 4. Okay. अब एक और distinction देखो. While all fascists are dictators, all dictators are not fascist. Okay, means fascism is a very small subset of a larger set, that is dictatorship. Now come to the definition of fascist. Fascist is, अब अच्छा इसमें सबसे harshly negative मैंने बताया despotic है, उसके बाद second harshly negative fascist है, okay, उसके बाद third harshly negative tyrannical है. Okay, so tyranny stand at third position. Okay, despotic is first, fascist is second, and tyranny is third. I'll tell you why. So in fascism, not only the civil liberties are suppressed, but also genocide or ethnic cleansing can be attempted. Okay, there are many signs of fascism. I'm sure most of you must be hearing about many signs of fascism, you know, and most of you must be reading these days in newspaper. Okay, so fascism is a form of government where the complete, not only the silencing of the voices, but also deliberate attempt to have a genocide, to persecute the minorities. And what kind of persecution of minorities? Because of their religious belief, because of their ethnicity, race, caste, creed, or different sexual orientation. That is fascism. Now, what is tyranny? Now, most of you use the word cruel and severely cruel and all that. Okay, none of these words clearly evoke the meaning of tyrannical. एक whimsical आदमी को देखा है, पागल आदमी को? जोकर देखा है? जोकर, have you seen that movie Joker?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Where a joker is a villain, like a humorous dictator who is not aware of his cruelty. Mind it, he becomes all the more cruel. So tyrannical, you can write a word that comes best to define tyrannical is a whimsical one-man rule. That is all. अब इसमें cruel है नहीं है, let the interpretation begin. Cruelty is not a direct outcome of tyranny, rather it is a byproduct of a whim and fancy of a humorous joker, a cruel humorous joker is a byproduct of his whims and fancy. Okay, so tyrannical के लिए जो best word है ना, that is whimsical one man rule is tyrannical. Okay, clear hai? Now come to despotic. Who is a despot? The best example in history, in recent history, I can think of a despot. While Nero was a tyrant, always remember, Nero का नाम सुना है आपने?
Yes, sir.
Nero, while Rome was burning, Nero was playing fiddle. Right. So while Nero was a tyrant, यहाँ पे मैं लिख रहा हूँ letter T. But Pot Paul, have you heard of Pot Paul? Anyone from Paul Science here? Pot Paul was a Cambodian dictator, a communist dictator. He was a despot. Now think of an early man, a savage. Okay. And think of a situation where a savage is trying to suppress you because he thinks that you are dangerous to his life. Now think of a situation how a savage, an early man will repress you. Okay, so write down a keyword that comes best to describe despotic. Despotic is a rule that is savagely repressive. That is the keyword. Savagely repressive. Okay, one word is left still. Totalitarianism. Have you heard of 1984, George Orwell? 1984.
Yes, sir.
What was George Orwell telling in that? Was the form of government, the big brother, a cruel despot? Was he attempting genocide? Was he trying to suppress civil liberty? No, he was not. He was just keeping a watch, a careful vigilance, a careful scrutiny, a careful surveillance on its subjects. Okay, so totalitarianism is the least exact of all these words. ठीक है, सबसे farthest है ये synonym में. Please remember, guys. is the least exact synonym of all these words. Okay. So in its implication, it is very different from all these 9 synonyms. Okay. It suggests a context of modern collectivist state. Now, what kind of modern collectivist state? Where whatever you do will be in the knowledge of state. You have no private life. The state will peep inside your bedroom. Okay. The state will know all your data. The state will know what kind of ideological standing you have, what kind of biases and prejudices and what kind of choices you have. Whatever you do is in the eye of state. You have no private life at all. That is called totalitarianism. Okay, so China was also a dictatorship as well as totalitarian. America was a totalitarian state long before it was a dictatorship. And now India has become a totalitarian state. More so after the Aadhaar fiasco, Udai. Okay, yes, questions now, guys.
Sir, can you please explain totalitarianism again?
निहाल totalitarianism का मतलब ये होता है कि तुम जो भी करोगे ना, तुम्हारा private life कुछ नहीं होगा. You have no private life. Everything is in the eye of government. Government is watching your data. Government is carefully monitoring you. Okay.
Declining of right of privacy, right?
You think that you have a private life when actually you don't have a private life.
Okay, thank you, sir.
It's a totalitarian state. Okay. Yes, guys. So question on this. Is it clear so far? Okay. I'm not looking at your chat. Yes, Swastika is here, contended, searching for synonyms. Okay, good. Let me add another page here, guys. Guys, please switch off your mic if you are not speaking, okay? Because a lot of background noise is there. Please switch off your mic if you're not speaking. Now let's come to synonyms again. Let us define what is a synonym. What are synonyms? So what is a synonym, guys? Synonyms are words having similar meaning, right? Similar meaning. Never the same meaning. Isn't it? Synonyms are words having similar meaning. Now who can attempt a definition of meaning? Tell me the meaning of the word meaning. What do you mean by meaning? When we say that a word has some meaning or similar meaning, what do you mean by that?
Sir, it describes the word with the sentence or object we are pointing.
Well, I admit unwillingly that I have understood your definition when actually I haven't. Okay, so एक बार फिर से try करो. Someone else give it a try. Try to define the meaning of the word meaning.
Sir, the inherent sense of the word.
The sense of the word.
The very essence of the word. But does not the word essence or the essence of a word varies as per its connotation, its denotation, its cultural standing?
Yes, so that's why there are synonyms to different words according to the connotation, I think.
How many of you are clear of the word connotation and denotation? अच्छा चलो पहले connotation denotation बाद में पहले meaning करते हैं, ठीक है? So meaning is, let me define it, a total range of contexts in which a word is used. A total range of context in which a word is used. And that is why we can say that there are no exact equivalences of meanings. Okay, means however closely related two words are, however closely related synonyms they are, there will exist at least one instance जहां वो दोनों word जो है वो replaceable नहीं होंगे, जहां वो दोनों word interchangeable नहीं होंगे. Okay, and that is why for that one instance, for that one reason, there exist two different words. Okay, which means there will exist at least one context in which those two words are not interchangeable. So synonyms are words having similar meaning, never the same meaning, because we can argue that there can be no exact equivalences of meaning. And what is meaning? Meaning is again a total range of context in which a word is used. Okay. Now think of it in this way. Say for instance, if I ask you to tell me the difference between misplaced and mislaid. Okay, give it a try. Tell me the difference between misplaced and mislaid, guys.
So the meaning is
So
somewhat
mislead
same, but
means-
there is a difference in the degree. Like,
Yes, what degree? What degree? Yes,
Like
Nihal,
mi-
let her speak first. What degree? Tell me.
like misplaced is applied, for small objects, maybe which are not up to the, जो मतलब बहुत बड़ी चीज नहीं है, like to very small objects. And mislaid is when, I don't know. I mean, it's like big and small objects. The difference is that kind of.
Okay, very good, Ishita. Who told you that? I'm happy.
So I don't know, sir. My mother is an English teacher, so I keep interacting with her.
Very good, amazing. Very good, nice to know that. Misplaced and mislaid. You see, guys, let me articulate it a little bit more. Okay, misplaced and mislaid. Say for instance, if I tell you I misplaced my wallet, I mislaid my wallet. Okay, I misplaced my car keys, I mislaid my car keys. Both are correct. I misplaced my wristwatch, I mislaid my wristwatch. Okay, but the moment I say I misplaced my suitcase and I mislaid my suitcase, so while I misplaced my suitcase is absolutely correct, but I mislaid my suitcase is incorrect. Please know why. Because while misplaced can be applied to both big and small objects, mislaid can be applied only to small. Is it what, Ishita, you're trying to say?
Yes, sir, kind of. You
Okay.
articulated it better.
Okay, so small objects में mislaid use होता है, while when you are not sure of, a student asked me in one of the classes, sir, how will I know if an object is small or big? Okay, that became a real trouble for me explaining. So मैंने बोला कि बाबा, when you have no idea of what is big and what is small, then you better use misplaced. Right? Yes, Nihal, you are saying something. Bolo.
I was saying exactly this.
Okay, good. Okay, also, please see that some words have a metaphorical meaning or a symbolic meaning, metaphorical meaning or a figurative meaning. While I can say that I have a misplaced trust in my confidence. Okay, I have a misplaced trust in her. Okay, they have a misplaced trust in my ability. Okay, the question was misplaced. In all these contexts, I cannot really replace the word misplaced with the word mislaid. Why? Because misplaced carries a metaphorical meaning in certain contexts. Mislaid does not. Clear hai, guys?
Yes, sir.
Pakka? Okay. Now again, something more about words. Now, those who have attended this class or this lecture of mine, somehow previously, let other people to answer it. Dictator and dictionary. Okay, those who are absolutely new to this class, tell me, what is the similarity in meaning? Can you see any similarity in meaning and why? What is the similarity in meaning? Of course, the first four-letter dict is similar, is same, not similar, sorry. Okay, I'm asking what is the similarity in meaning, if at all? If at all there's a similarity in meaning.
Sir,
Yes.
both of the thing
basically dictates us something. A dictator will dictate us the form of regime of government that will follow. And
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. And dictionary is
basically dictates us the meaning of words.
meaning of words. So both have an authoritative stance, isn't it? Is what you meant to say,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, your name, please.
Anandita, sir.
Anandita. Okay, Anandita, are you from Calcutta? I could sense that accent.
No, sir, I am from Assam.
Okay, हाँ, Calcutta और Assam का accent तो एक ही हो जाता है ना, Calcutta, Assam, right? So accent
sir.
is more or less the same, right? So
Okay,
you spoke with that kind of Assami Bengali lilt.
Yes,
could
sir. I
sense
can
that.
speak both Assamese and Bengali. Yes, sir.
Okay, so yes, so you see, now tell me, any one of you, where from you know, this similarity in meaning is originating? Because they originate from the same root. Okay. So whenever there's a similarity of root, there is a similarity of meaning. Yes, Nihal, bolo.
So maybe they both originate from dictate.
Not really, Nihal. Dictate also originates from this root. Okay, that some dictionary writes daiko and some dictionary writes disecre. Okay. So dictate also originates from the same root. Diction also originates from the same root. Benediction also originates from the same root. And valediction also originates from the same root. And dictation, of course, originates from the same root. Okay. So knowing roots, another way of knowing vocab, guys, is to know the root of a word. Okay. Knowing root will give you a approx idea, if not a very exact idea. I'll tell you why not exact idea, because sometimes the roots usually change their meaning. Okay, and what are roots? Roots are the smallest unit of a word. Technically, बोले तो lexical unit उसको बोलते हैं. Smallest unit of a word that contains the most important content, meaning of a word. They are called root. Okay. So knowing root will certainly help you, but knowing roots has its own limitation. Okay. For example, even if you know that daiko or disecre means to tell something, okay, still you cannot tell the difference between benediction and valediction very clearly if you're not sure of the root bene and vale. Okay, guys, now come to diction. What is diction? Anyone? Yes, Ishita. What is diction? Please tell me. I mean, anyone can give it a try.
The proper usage of words.
Proper usage of words. Okay. Okay. Proper usage of words. How to use words properly. Diction also means one is proper usage, of course. Okay. And one also means difference in the degree of a synonym. Degree of a okay. For example, say for instance, ask. Let me add another page. Okay. जैसे अगर हमने एक word लिया ask, right? Now ask has many different meaning. To tell also means to ask. To beg also means to ask. Please listen to me. To dictate also means to ask. To direct also means to ask. To command also means to ask. To urge also means to ask. To request also means to ask. To plead also means to ask. To exhort also means to ask. Okay. But when to use command and when to use beg, or when to use simply ask and when to use request, okay, or when to use urge and when to use exhort are very different, Okay, so this is what we mean to say when we say diction. Okay, diction is asked in a special way in ZAT and TISS, which means in the name of common confusables. Common confusables. Okay. And this is a very easy one to do, if that interests you. Let's give it a try. Simple versus simplistic. That kind of a question. Economic versus economical. Use these two words in two different sentences so as to highlight their difference. Economic versus economical. Post-mortem versus autopsy. Yes, guys, please. Buy versus purchase. Start with the first one, simple versus simplistic. You see, guys, जो पूरा purpose है ना इस class का, is that I'm not going into any difficult words. I'm just taking simple words and giving you some idea as to how to look into it in all its details. So far that most of us have not done. Okay. So that we must get over that notion that learning vocab is always about learning big and pompous words. No, it is not. It is about using simple words in all its necessary details. Okay, going into the simple nuances of, finer nuances of simple words, pardon. Okay, ये try करिए जरा simple versus simplistic, please. Guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Somebody please tell me. Let it be a dialogue. Say something, whatever that comes to your mind.
Sir, we have to say sentences.
Difference in the meaning bata do aise mujhe. Not sentences. Just tell me ki what difference do you find?
Simple can anything which can be easily done, and the simplistic is maybe the taking anything or any problem in a as a simple way, or in a simplistic or in a simple manner.
So simple
Simple is kind of neutral, and simplistic kind of have negative impact.
The simple is something when you are quite straightforward to something. You are delivering your message or your whatever you want to say. You will tell it.
Not really. I can be very straightforward. Still, I can be complex. Have you heard Amartya Sen speaking? He's very direct. He's very straightforward. Still, he's very complex to understand.
Sir, I pressed video instead of mute.
Yes, guys. Who will attempt the definition of simplistic?
So simplistic is superficial.
Simplistic is superficial. Who is that?
Making things simple.
Richa. Simplistic is superficial. Good. Simplistic is superficial. Okay, chalo main batata hu.
Sir,
of course. Yes.
Let me try.
Yeah. Please.
So simplistic is something wherein you treat an issue or a problem as if they were much simpler or what they exactly are.
Not simpler. I would say hollow or superficial.
Okay.
Right. Tackling a problem in such a way so that your solution will not at all address the issue at hand. Your solution is so hollow, your solution is so superficial that it will not address the problem at hand. Okay. So while simple means pretty easy, lucid, cogent. Okay. For example, the professor explained the lesson in a very simple manner. Okay, but his understanding of India's foreign policy is very simplistic, which means he doesn't understand it at all. Okay, that is a very simplistic solution to COVID-19, which means the solution is not going to work at all. It is so superficial that it is not going to work at all. So you see, in a sense, can we say that simplistic is the opposite of, not exact opposite, but a near opposite of simple? While simple is a very positive word, simplistic has a negative meaning, right? Something that is shallow and superficial. Now come to economic and economical. Yes, quickly. Yes, guys.
So economy means running of economy means way of
Nihal, एक minute. Let other people answer. I guess you have attended this class, right? Somewhere in the past. Okay, let other people answer.
Yes.
Sir, economic means this creation of wealth or something related to.
Yes, Swastika, economic means money related. Economic. Economic is, Swastika, related to the law of economics, the subject economics, right? Yes. And economical is cheaper, isn't it? Now see how to use it in two different sentences. The sentence making, as I always rely on, is much better tool than simply knowing the meaning of a word. Okay. Now the government took economic measures to curb poverty. The new economic policy, Swastika has just typed in. The new economic policy. Due to economical constraint, I couldn't buy the new car. Okay, the government resorted to more economical spending policies. Metros are more economical. Okay, but economic intervention in the COVID-19 situation is needed. Okay, and due to the economic intervention, the government has resorted to a more economical spending policy. Is it clear to you guys?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now come to autopsy and post-mortem. Yes.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, autopsy is a kind of examination of a corpse to find out the cause of death.
Okay. Okay, very good. Yes, fair enough. What is post-mortem?
So, autopsy is a biological word, whereas postmortem is not. Postmortem suggests something, an analysis of something after it's happening.
In addition to it being biological work as well.
Yeah, yes.
In addition to it being a biological work as well, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Let me elaborate it a little bit. Again, you guys see, please see here my whiteboard. Please see my computer screen. Post-mortem has a metaphorical meaning. While both are performed, while both post-mortem and autopsy are performed to ascertain the cause of death on a dead body, okay, post-mortem has a metaphorical meaning. It can also be done of a business situation. It can also be done of an idea, of an event. Let us do a post-mortem analysis of post-COVID situation. Let us do a post-mortem analysis as to why couldn't we score 100 percentile in CAT verbal. Let us do a post-mortem analysis as to why Germany couldn't defend itself against France in FIFA semi-finals, isn't it? But in all these contexts, you cannot really replace the word post-mortem with the word autopsy. वो utterly गलत हो जाएगा.
So what exactly the definition of this word post-mortem?
Postmortem is ascertain to postmortem is done to ascertain the cause of death on a dead body. Postmortem. Swastika ne reply kiya after death. Okay, mortem is death. Postmortem after death. So here death does not literally means dying. It can also be of an idea, of an event, of anything. But autopsy के केस में वो purely biological meaning हो जाता है.
Okay.
Clear है? If not, I can again explain. ठीक है? Buy versus purchase. Very simple. Buy के साथ एक metaphorical meaning है. I cannot buy your trust. Happiness cannot be bought. Okay. They have not bought my confidence. I cannot buy your argument. Okay. I cannot buy this word of yours. Right. In all these cases, you cannot really replace the word buy with the word purchase.
But sir, sorry to interrupt, sir, but I'm a bit befogged actually. But the meaning of both if we go through dictionary and we find the definitions of both the words,
yeah,
then we get the same meaning somehow.
Not same, I'll say similar meaning. Again, you have to look into the example sentences.
Okay.
Okay, to make it more clearer. Buy has a metaphorical meaning. Purchase doesn't have. Okay, they are almost same, but they are never the same. They are very closely similar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sir, like means here too it is means here too we can find that there is a difference between buy and purchase.
Yes.
But in the case of this postmortem and autopsy, I'm a bit befogged still.
Very easy. Let me tell you. कौन बोल रहा है? Anandita, right?
Ruchika.
Okay. Ruchika. See, it's very simple यार. तुम you go to lexico.com, ठीक है? You do it immediately after class. अगर नहीं समझ में आया तो you can directly ask me in the group. Okay. You go to lexico.com, type postmortem, okay, and see the example sentences. There in the example sentences itself, you can see that postmortem is used for event, ideas, business failure, blah blah blah, whatever.
Okay.
Ample number of examples. That is why I'm placing a lot of emphasis on examples.
Sure, sir. I'll definitely.
Okay. So example आप जितना ज़्यादा देखोगे ना, it will be clearer to you.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Now, tell me, I'm writing a few words. Tell me to which language do they belong to? Pure, table, poignant, labor, mirror, assemble, and power. Which language it is, guys? Pure, table, poignant, labor, mirror, power. Quickly बताओ यार.
The poignant is, I think, French.
Okay, poignant is French. What about the rest? To which language do these words belong to, guys?
Sir, labor French word hai.
They are all French. Okay. So if they are all French, let us find the exact English equivalent of these words. Okay, give it a try. 2 minutes. Another way to look into words. Write down the English equivalent of it.
Sir,
also write down the English equivalent of these French words as well. We have assault. We have battery. We have larceny. We have burglary. तो इसका भी English equivalent लिखना है आपको. Yes, guys. So, yes, trying still, or can I like answer?
Sir, English equivalent meaning?
Yes, yes. Because English is a confluence of many languages. Most of the words that we use in English, we do not really know whether they are from French or Italian or even Latin or Greek. They are very much used as if they are English, but they have their English equivalences as something else. For example, इस case में देखो, cure is called as heal in English. Okay,
Sir,
and table is a,
treatment?
not treatment, heal, heal.
Okay.
Okay, poignant is sharp. Labor is work. Okay, mirror is, let me, some of you are typing as well. Let me see. Not really, Swastika. Power is not ability. You see, so whenever a word enters into someone else's heartland, cultural heartland, okay, it doesn't nearly affect the idioms and phrases of that particular word. Okay, so always for a purer meaning, always go into the idioms and phrases of the word or the ancient text of that word. For example, in Bible, all of us have encountered the word almighty, but we have never encountered the word all powerful, right? Or for example, in idioms, we have already been knowing might is right, isn't it? We never say power is right, might is right. So power is might here. Okay, and assemble is meat and mirror is glass. And since in French all these are action words, so we will add ing to the English word. So assault is hitting, striking, stealing, and robbing. Is it clear to you guys?
Sir,
how is poignant sharp?
Yes, poignant is sharp. Poignant has a different meaning in English, but the meaning that French carries, so the exact equivalent or a near equivalent is sharp. Okay. Poignant also means sadness, a mix of thought and sadness, thoughtfulness and sadness is poignant. Okay.
Sir, how would stealing and robbing be different in this case?
Stealing and robbing are really different, isn't it? When you steal someone, when you rob someone, you force yourself upon that person. Okay, when you steal it very silently, stealthily, right? The other person is unaware of it. But a person is robbed, so he's aware that he's robbed. Robbing is much bigger a crime than stealing.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, okay. So robbing is a very higher degree word. Clear hai? Right. Now something more on yes.
Sir, I'm not so clear with the poignant.
Poignant. Poignant में क्या नहीं clear है बताओ. Poignant is sharp. In English it means sharp. A poignant smell.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay. However, we can also say it's a poignant story, which means it was a sadness provoking story. It evoked sadness, it induced sadness.
Also, sir, these French words are
very much in use in English.
The pronunciations, I meant, are pronounced differently. So while in English, are they pronounced the same or different?
Some words are very much the same, like mirror, except poignant, as far as I know.
The poignant is poignant.
We call it poignant. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly in French. So this pronunciation remains the same in English.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, the spelling of this labor, L-A-B-O-U-R, I've seen that labor we use L-A-B-O-R also.
In French, right?
Yes.
Very much, yes, yes.
So,
but here it is adapted in English. It's a French word. It is adapted in English. Okay. But it is not English. If you go by its English equivalence, it is work. Of course, there are some changes. For example, I guess poignant remains very much the same.
Okay.
Okay. Or salad remains very much the same. Or restaurant remains very much the same. Or double entendre, double meaning, double entendre remains very much the same. Okay, guys.
So sir, the spelling of this word labor, it's L-A-B-O-U-R or L-A-B-O-R?
It's L-A-B-O-U-R.
So why we use this child, in case of child labor, we use L-A-B-O-R?
No, it is L-A-B-O-U-R. Might be you know, you're referring to some American source. It is very much L-A-B-O-U-R.
Okay.
Now something more on synonym, something more on this French, Greek and Latin. Tell me, those who are attending this class for the first time, is introduction an English word? Is introduction English? Give it a try.
No.
If not, then tell me its English equivalent. And also tell me to which country it belongs, to which language introduction belongs to.
French.
Pardon?
French.
French? Nahin yaar. French ho gaya. Now the French part is over.
Latin.
Who said Latin?
Sir Prachi.
Prachi, very good. Absolutely. It is Latin. Introduction is Latin. Now guess its English equivalent, guess its French equivalent as well as Greek equivalent.
So, présentez-vous in French?
Please, I have never heard any such word in my life, and I do not know French either. I know only French insofar as English.
Okay.
Its French equivalent is, as far as I know, is preface. And its English equivalent is foreword. And its Greek equivalent is prolegomenon. Please check it, guys. American English is commentary is a very different thing altogether, Swastika. When we say introduction or preface in context of a book, okay, fine. Okay, guys, another similar exercise. Think of grassland, right?
Here are the top search results.
Grassland. Now, think of its geographical variant and what it would be called in French, Spanish, and Russian. All properly and formally used in English. Give it a try.
Sir, in French, grassland is called herbage.
Okay. Spelling क्या है? Spelling बताओ उसको मुझे.
HERBAGE.
Okay. Pradera in Spanish. And what is field? Field called in French. Meadow in Spanish. Have you heard of a word steppe? Prairie.
Yes.
Prairie was used for grassland actually.
Isn't it? So steppe and prairie are French. Okay. Have you heard of tundra? Yes, guys. Sorry. This is steppe. This is prairie and plain. Okay. Tundra and steppe are Russian. Okay. And have you heard of pampas and savanna? These are Spanish. So this is called geographical variant of the same kind. The kind of synonyms, these are called geographical variants, guys. Okay. The kind of synonyms that we're doing, autocratic and all those synonyms. Those were called synonyms based on the degree of abstraction. Okay. So there are many different kind of synonyms. For example, if I say teach. Okay. So to instruct also means teach. Guide also means teach. To indoctrinate also means teach. Okay. To school also means teach. To coach also means teach. And to tutor also means teach. So these are called again difference in the degree of abstraction. Okay. One last thing I would like to add. Word clubs. Word clubs are based on thematic similarity. Say for instance, you pick up a theme. Okay, whatever XYZ theme you have. Okay, and then you try to put as many words as possible in that theme and to make a word club of it. It can be, the words can be antonym, cannot be antonym, can be synonym, cannot be synonym. But the thing is that whatever words that you are choosing, they have some kind of thematic similarity. Okay, let's give it a try in 5 minutes. Say for instance, let our theme be God and religion to start with. Okay, can you guys write 15 plus words in God and religion? Words related to God and religion.
Sir, deity.
Give it a try. 5 minutes में इकट्ठे लिखो, write it in one go and then we will discuss. God and religion. After that, we will end the class. Give it a try. Don't use Google. Don't use any open source. Write on your own.
Done, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Done, sir.
Okay, guys, tell me.
Monotheism.
Monotheism, okay.
Polytheism.
Polytheism.
Paganism.
Paganism.
Atheism.
Atheism or atheist, okay, ठीक है, atheist भी सही है, atheism भी सही है, दोनों सही है. Pardon?
Almighty.
Almighty, okay.
Omnipresent.
Omnipresent, okay, Nihal, let other people speak now.
So
Yes.
Creator,
okay.
So saintly, prayerful.
Saintly.
Father.
Pious.
Holy, okay. Omnipresent, omnipotent, ubiquitous, evil, Saturn, pious, Father. Okay, yes.
Demon also, demon.
Okay, yes, yes.
About orthodox, is it a religious
Orthodox, yes, we can add it in God and religion.
Heaven.
Heaven कर सकते हैं add, बिल्कुल, yes.
So faith.
Faith.
Blessed.
Can we add a word cosmos? What is the
Yes, sir.
difference between cosmos and universe? Anyone? Again. Pious, orthodox, blessed, devotee, godly, believer, yes. Tell me, what is the difference between cosmos and universe? When we say cosmos and when we say universe. Cosmos has a connotation of an ordered universe managed by some kind of higher intelligence. It can be anything. It can be God. It can be an abstract higher intelligence, anything. Okay. So universe doesn't necessarily represent order. Whenever we talk of an ordered universe, we call it cosmos. So necessarily in the word cosmos, there's a notion of God. Cosmo is related to the movement and position of stars. Movement and Swastika, I have to check. I am not aware. Might be, since you're telling it, it might be. Okay, because cosmos is certainly related to order. Order and positioning, of course. So I have to check whether it is related to stars or not. Yes, guys, something else.
Sir, pious.
Pious, yes, it can be. Okay, what do you call a situation when God suddenly appeared in front of you? In your visuals? And what do you call a situation when God suddenly appeared in your mind? Dimag ki batti jal gayi chalte chalte.
Miracle?
Miracle mein God does not necessarily, have to appear there. He can simply perform a miracle at a distance, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
In a desert, suddenly you find water sprouting from the ground, isn't it? Abhinav, enlightened या different चीज हो गई. Enlightenment में God doesn't appear to you, rather you realize God.
So incarnation?
So enlightenment, Abhinav, I'll tell, enlightenment is a conclusion of that thing what I'm talking about. Yes, अभी कोई बोल रहा था बीच में suddenly.
So incarnation?
Incarnation तो यार वो हो गया ना. Incarnation is when incarnation is not. Incarnation is a different thing. I am asking, let me put my question to you again in a different way. When God appeared to you either in a kind of visual, kind of image, okay, suddenly you hallucinated and God appeared in front of you, or you hear some kind of voice, or you suddenly, have a very intense realization and some final truth appears in front of you. So appearance of God, let me put it again, either in terms of thoughts or in terms of pictures. Yes, someone from English literature will answer it. James Joyce has made it very popular in his iconic novel, The Portrait of Artist as a Young Man. चलते चलते उसकी जो है वो दिमाग की बत्ती जल जाती थी. Have you heard of this word epiphany?
Yes, sir.
It was an epiphanic moment for Indian cricket team. It can also be used in a very general sense of the term. It was an epiphanic moment for me after CAT exam. I realized that studying could have been better for me. Right? In terms of picture, that is called theophany. Swastika, can you recall, I did tell you these words in the class when we first met at Dwarka? Isn't it? Epiphany and theophany. I discussed these words in the very first class, isn't it? So yes, guys, आज यही end करते हैं. Finally, if you have some question, you can, of course, ask.
Yes, sir. I had a doubt about what you said about the word all right. Can you explain that again?
All right, जो English में हम ये करते हैं ना, all right. This is all right. ठीक है? This is never all right. This is incorrect.
There's no meaning to the latter one, the one with the single L.
I mean, meaning is what we provide to the word. So if all of us, are hell-bent on providing a meaning, we can of course provide a meaning. For example, we have already provided meaning to the word post-porn when there is no such word as no such word as pre-porn.
Okay.
Okay. The words are already, it is only post-porn. There is no such word as pre-porn. Okay, pre-porn हम कभी नहीं बोलते हैं. It is already advanced. JNU exam is advanced this year. It is never pre-porn. But we are Indians, हम तो कितने हैं? 132 करोड़ हैं, right? So we you know we can give meaning to anything and everything that we feel like. So all right is definitely, my dear, is incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. Okay. Go to oxforddictionaries.com, go to lexico.com. Lexico.com will be our abiding book, will be our Bible. Okay. So all disputes will be subjected to lexico.com. Okay. Can we proceed the class for 20 more minutes? How many of us are ready for that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about the rest?
Okay. Yes, sir.
पक्का, मतलब ऐसा कोई compulsion नहीं है, but we can. I mean, if you feel like, I have an exercise to do. Very few of you are telling, right? Only Swastika,
Okay,
Nihal, and
no problem, sir.
No problem.
okay, chalo. Okay, let me share one exercise with you here on the computer screen itself. So here we go. Okay, let us do this exercise. Read the instruction first and let us do the exercise.
So we have only these 7 questions?
No. So ye ho gaya, first 7 have you completed? Okay.
Yes.
So let's do next. Seven to 15. This exercise is a standard vocab test taken from Norman Lewis, Word Power Made Easy itself.
So I'm done.
Guys, so next 16 to check these
Sir,
two questions. Yes.
Can you like move a little up?
Yes. This is 8 to 17.
Yes, so we can go ahead.
You can take a screenshot. I'll mail this document, this exercise to your group. Yes, guys, next set of questions.
So please could you scroll up the screen once? Just this 25th one. Fine, sir, you can scroll the screen.
Yes, guys. So we have this 28 to 37 next. Guys, can I change the slide? Scroll down.
Yes, sir.
There are 55 questions in total. So we have one more set to go. Guys, next. We have 60, sorry. Yes, guys, next 5 questions. You see, discussing answers will again, take close to 15 minutes. So I think we can, discuss it in the next class. You solve it at your own revise it once again, and then we will discuss the answers in the next class, because it will take again another 15 to 20 minutes.
Sir, yes, can you please send the document so that we can see the ones we missed?
I will. Okay. Meanwhile, okay, let's have a chit chat for 5 minutes. Who can tell me the difference between psychosis and neurosis? Anyone from psychology here? Psychosis and neurosis.
So psychosis is emerging from the psyche, basically the mind. Neurosis is the nerve related issue.
Both are mind related issue, but neurosis might emerge because of nerve as well.
Yes.
Okay. Psychosis might also emerge because of the chemical reaction in mind. So that doesn't make the difference clear.
Sir, in psychosis, one loses a touch from reality, whereas in neurosis, one is still very much grounded in reality. They know.
Who is the person speaking?
Ruchi.
Ruchi. Yes, Ruchi, absolutely correct. So in psychosis, there is a radical loss of touch with reality. Radical loss of touch with reality. In neurosis, the touch with reality is still there. Okay, let's attempt some synonym of rebel. Some synonym of the word rebel.
Outcast.
Okay, outcast. So there are many different kind of rebel. Okay, a person who is outcast, a person who has a very unorthodox view, a person who lives outside the confines of society, a person who attack popular icon of a society, a person who doesn't follow social norms or social opinions, or a person who lives a very aesthetically pleasing lifestyle. So there are many different kind of rebel. Try naming them in one word for each of them. So this is also your homework. Try to find some synonym of the word rebel of each kind that I mentioned. Okay guys, so यहाँ end करते हैं class, right? Thank you so much.
Thank you,
So
sir.
we have started with 20 students. We are now left only with 10 students till the end of the class. Nihal is still here.